What is sign language? Sign language is an integral form of communication in the deaf community. It's a natural language as sophisticated and complex as any speech language. A sign language is a visual language that uses a system of manual, facial, and body movement and the means of communication. Sign language is not a universal language, and different sign languages are used in different countries, like the many spoken languages all over the world. With sign language, deaf people who would have difficulty speaking and learning language, like people who can hear, able to communicate as efficiently as seamless. And now we're gonna talking about the history of sign language. It started with Aristotle. Aristotle was the first to have a clean record about the deaf. His theory was that people can only learn through hearing spoken language. Deaf people were therefore seen as being unable to learn or be educated at all. The law had them labeled as no persons. Aristotle's claim was disputed in Europe during the Renaissance. The next one, this lasted until the 50s. Pedro Ponce de Leon, a Benedictine monk, created his own form of sign language to bypass his vow of silence. This form of sign language may have been taught to deaf children later on. In 1620, Juan Pablo Bonet wrote a sign language dictionary that outlined how to learn sign language and contained the first sign language alphabet.
There are many types of sign languages. We can classify these sign systems into diverse categories, such as alternate and primary sign languages. Both are systems of hand signals created by speakers with a limited communication, as deaf people. Or simply, it is used when the speech cannot be used, as religious rules of silence or traditions. The difference between them is that people who use the alternate sign languages have another first language which they can speak. For the contrary, primary sign language is the first language of a specific group of people who do not use a spoken language with each other, such as British Sign Language and French Sign Language, as used for everyday communication among members of the deaf communities. But as the people who can speak, each country counts with specific languages. In this case, these communities have different sign languages which they do not share identical signs and are not mutually intelligible. It means that there is not an universal sign language. As we said before, we also count with the American Sign Language, or ASL. It is a complete and complex language that employs signs made with the hands and other movements, including facial expressions and postures of the body. But many countries count with their own sign languages, such as in Germany, France, Italy, China, Venezuela, etc., and they are very different from one another. Signed English. This system is preferred among primary and higher education institutions as it has one sign to represent each word in the English language. It is intended to be used to help reading and writing, and has important signs to teach grammar. Sign-supported English. This is the preferred method of hearing people to communicate with the deaf. International Sign. It is an international auxiliary language used at international meetings. And finally, we count with the finger spelling. This signing system is generally used alongside sign language. It is used to spell out names, places, and anything else where there is not usually a sign for. Many times, new words take longer to be adapted into a singular sign. Therefore, they must be spelled out.
Now let's talk about the characteristics of sign language that differ from English grammar. Some people may think that sign language and English grammar have the same rules. Well, that is not true. In order to give you some examples, we can begin with the word right. In English, the word has two meanings: a direction, left or right, or if we are correct about something, so we can be wrong or right. ASL doesn't have a single sign with two meanings. It has a specific sign for every single definition. Another difference between ASL and English grammar is that in ASL one single movement can mean a sentence, or the simple fact of adding circular movements can extend the message. Another difference can be appreciated in the question that answers with yes or no. The structure of the sentence is the same, but ASL doesn't answer with the hands movement but with the eyebrows movement. And finally, ASL doesn't use both the verb to be and articles. This is the end of the presentation. Our group was conformed by Catherine Oskese, Inei Hum, and Alexander Gersi. We hope this video was very useful, and we invite you to check out our reference. Thank you very much.